Here we go. So we're about to start with the webinar for Mosaic. I know this is more of a pro feature. I'll be monitoring the chats. I'm not sure if my co-host is on, which should be Julian. He may be jumping in a little late. There he is.
I'm here.
All right,
I
cool,
made
man.
it.
Nice to have you on board. If you want to introduce yourself while I get everything situated, we're about to start with the process.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Julian. I'm part of the support team, and I'm also a colleague with DJ for all the webinars, master classes. I also do some of the chats in support, and also I create some tutorials for the channels that we have, like YouTube and TikTok, Instagram. So later you will have a tutorial on this that we'll try to resume a little bit. And I'm glad to have you here to learn about this new feature that TouchPix just launched 2 weeks ago. Okay. Thanks, DJ.
Thanks, Julian. Of course, we're about to jump in. Let me share my screen. Let me know when you guys see my
But
screen in share mode.
uh, DJ, did you stop the recording or
Oh,
can we do
I think
another one?
I restarted it, so it should be
Okay,
another one
perfect.
started. So just want to make
Perfect.
sure we're capturing everything in a timely manner. So
Perfect.
trying to see where the share button here is because it was here. Now it disappeared. Oh, here we go.
Checking the chat and answering some questions. So if you want to drop it on the chat, I'm going to check. Okay.
Okay, you guys should be seeing my TouchPix event page, correct? Is that what you guys are seeing?
Yeah, the screen is
Yes.
so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started with my account here. Man, it moved on me real quick. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, so you're gonna log into your event page when you log into your account. I'm gonna minimize some windows. It looks like I have too many open here. And we're gonna do a new event. Once you hit create a new event, it's pretty similar to creating an event from prior. Like if you're doing a photo booth event, it's pretty similar in the event that we're focused only on photos today. We're not going to be touching on videos. Today's solely for the new photo mosaic feature, which you will find down here where it says photo mosaic. So in this case, I'm going to go from the beginning just so I can go ahead and showcase how everything is exactly the same. You're going to name your event. In this case, it's going to be called Mosaic. You're going to also give it an event description. If you go down to sessions, this is also going to control your countdowns. I recommend for people doing mosaics to go ahead and play with some of these settings in the sense of we recommend that there should be a single post shot, right? Anytime you do a mosaic, just to execute the best possible output and the quickest possible output, it's going to be a single shot picture. You will be able to utilize a overlay, but in this webinar, we're going to be showcasing single shot, not worried about videos. And under sessions, you'll still be able to control your countdowns. Under timeouts, you could leave it as the default. I usually bring my thank you screen to 2 or 3 seconds. I drop my attract screen to about 15 seconds. It's just a general setting that I use. But it's very similar to setting up an original photo booth event. In this case, I'll be showcasing, maybe let's try the front camera, but you can use a DSLR as well. And that's, it's really comes down to preference when you do mosaics. I know a lot of people utilize mosaics, utilizing the iPad booth with the front camera. That's fine if you're okay with resolution and if you're okay with that output. Um, but you can go a little bit with a higher quality output by going with a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. So in this case, we're going to be using front only. I already have a gallery preloaded because that would be the easiest way to explain most of the steps versus me taking a bunch of shots and not being able to show you how to activate the mosaic feature and see it auto-populate. Trigger section, you don't really need to worry about the trigger section unless you're using some type of Bluetooth clicker to initiate your photo shots. The UI customization, I usually like it dark, but it's all preference. You can actually remove the show gallery or the show settings, similar to your other events. So we're going to quickly go down the photo functions. I'm only going to enable a photo. That's all I'm going to be focused on for the mosaic overview today. So none of the other stuff is going to apply for this masterclass. Not using any photo effects, but you ultimately could if you'd like to use photo effects, like a background removal of some sort, but I'm not going to be focused on that today. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to photo mosaic, which is the key. And you're going to find 3 tabs on top. And for my case, I kind of already loaded a grid, but I'll show you from scratch exactly how I went about doing that. I loaded an artwork. People had some questions when we released our mosaic feature, asking, how big you should be able to make your grid. In my specific case, my grid is 15 columns, 18 rows. I want you guys to pay attention to something here. Um, I did it this way based on that TouchPix logo. I could have used a smaller logo, placed that logo in a different area. But for me, part of the mosaic magic is to be able to brand um, mainly corporate events that hire you for brand awareness. So the brand should be able to stick out and be notable, whether you're doing a digital mosaic on a TV or whether you elect to do prints, which you will be able to do label prints. And we'll be talking about those throughout this masterclass because there's a couple of printers that are capable of handling, for example, 2x2 label printers, and you will be able to go ahead and go through the mosaic process and ultimately it's kind of like sticker media. It goes on a board. The picture will have an identifiable number so the guest will know exactly where to put the picture. So initially, let's go back. There's 3 sections. There's the layout, right? And if you're not familiar with how to start the mosaic, TouchPix also gives you a step-by-step instructions so you can go ahead and make sure you don't skip any of these steps. But in this case, I'll just show you. And like I indicated, pay attention to my columns. If I reduce my columns for less columns, you're going to see that it automatically adjusts the actual Mosaic grid. Obviously, it doesn't look great there, so I wouldn't recommend that. It looks squished, but you can make the columns, right, and rows as big as you want. So in this case, there's 23. If I increase the rows, you will also see it more. Uh, you're not going to see it skewed. So you have full control of how big you want your mosaic to be. Um, so just kind of showing you what that process looks like. And I'll leave it there for now, just so you guys can actually see. So as far as logos, you're able to also upload a logo. It doesn't need to be a circular logo. I'm going to go ahead and X this out. And I'd recommend that you use a PNG logo. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to go ahead and add artwork. And I believe I'll have some stuff here I'll have some stuff here. So I'll show you two examples. That way you can see what would work best for you. So it's uploading my logo. It's a PNG file. It's a transparent file. And then you will be able to see it there. As you can see, it's a little skewed there. And you can play around with um, the number of rows and columns to see what best fits your needs, right? You can see it's a little long there. I'm going to go ahead and use the other logo just because I already had it set, but I'll use a different logo. Very easy to utilize. Um, Under upload artwork, we're going to go ahead and just upload a different logo so you can have a rough idea of how it works. And let me see if I have, let's try to use this TouchFix logo here, which is actually a logo with text as well. Upload the file. There it is. It doesn't look great, right? So you're going to have to play with the number of rows until you're satisfied with your output. You'll be able to play around with these and make sure you have something that's, I'm going to go with 23 and 26. I'm going to use I'm going to use another logo that's a circular logo, but this is just to give you an idea of what that's going to look like. Um, if you use logos that are long, you can essentially use any type of logo. It's really up to you how you want to display it. So let's go back and let's use the original. I believe it was this one here. And I like how that looks. The other thing that's important that I would want to recommend is the opacity. Right now, since this feature is brand new, the default is at 50. I'm not exactly happy where the default setting is, but if I set it at 50, you're going to see that you can actually barely see the logo. Uh, in my opinion, when you're doing a mosaic activation, again, you're going to focus on brand awareness. You want that logo to pop, right? And
That's correct.
that's where you start adjusting the opacity. My sweet spot would be about 75 or even 80. I've done some tests with 75. I'm actually really pleased on how that looks. And I'm going to give you some examples as far as kind of showing you via time lapse the way it starts migrating all the pictures. Um, you're gonna After you are satisfied with your artwork, you're gonna connect it with photo. It's gonna apply. Go ahead. Yeah, so you're gonna connect it with photo. It's gonna let the software know that it's gonna apply it to the grid. You can actually also do a fit to canvas. It's kind of a smart option in the event that you are having a logo that's probably the aspect ratio may appear skewed a bit. It'll do the best job to make sure that everything is aligned. Um, in addition to that, you're also going to be able to upload a overlay, right? You don't need to, but the software needs to detect that there's, whether you're shooting in portrait mode or you're shooting in landscape mode, you can upload what we call sometimes a blank overlay. As long as it's within the dimensions, you'll be able to do that. In this case, I uploaded a TouchPix landscape logo single shot, because you will have the option when your guest uses the Mosaic to actually print out a picture with the actual overlay, while the Mosaic original photo migrates onto the to your screen, or if you're using a board to use your adhesives. Does that make sense up to this point? Just want to make sure that I cover the purpose of why there's an overlay added to this. Anybody have questions with regards to that?
So if you're trying to do like 2x2 prints, would you then do a 2x2 overlay?
No,
No.
you're gonna do the overlay. So if you're gonna do a 2x2 print, meaning that you're using either the Primera label printer or you're using the Epson printer that does a 2x2 prints. So you're gonna select either a portrait template or a landscape template. The software will do its best to make sure that it captures the direction that the printout is printing, but it has nothing to do with matching your output with the Mosaic, because at the end of the day, you will be able to hand your client, if you're using a different printer, like a standard DNP, maybe a 620, or maybe you're using an DNP RX1, whatever you're using on 4x6 media, you'll still be able to hand your client, if you want, a printout of that, or you can send that digitally, while the Mosaic will automatically convert in a smaller format into a 2x2 if you're electing to print it in that fashion.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So let's go back down to Mosaic. So once you are good with your dimensions and your overlay, you can move over to the second tab up here, which is marking. This will give you your grid, your blank grid here. And you can print out your wall. If you're sending this to get printed off, people use paper, people use some cardboard stock to get the actual grid printed on. So it really depends on who you use to print out your grid. You can download the dimensions. That way you can have a physical grid. This only applies for the people that are using the Mosaic and actually doing tangible prints, utilizing either the Primera label printer or the Epson label printer that does 2x2s. We find that you're also able to use other media if you want to go a little bit bigger. Say you don't have those specific printers and you want to try this at home and you want to see how it looks. If you're able to utilize your DMP 620 printer or your RX1 to print in a smaller format, I know some printers can print 3.5 by 3.5. You're able to do that just to test it out. But I think most of the people in the industry who are doing professional Mosaic activations utilize either the Primera printer or the Epson printer, because there are label printers that print on adhesive media 2x2. And there's some other sizes as well, but you can download the wall physically and take it to your local print shop and make sure that um, you're able to do that. So each of these squares will give you an identifying number and as far as row and column. So, and I'll go over that a little bit further when you see the actual Mosaic auto-populate. The Mosaic picture will actually have, you can display the column and the row on the actual picture. That way, when your guest utilizes the Mosaic booth and they prints out the label, they know exactly where to go place it. They just match it from the description on their Mosaic board. Okay. We're going to go over to the export side. And on this export side, it's mainly utilized at the very end. I use the export side. I'm going to show it on my iPhone right now. Just because I have a sample event, I do have my sample event does have pictures from a gallery that I've already utilized. And on the export event, it lets me either reset my mosaic and start from scratch, and it'll let me do the autofill. It'll also give me an option to download the completed wall. But before I go over to my phone, I'll just kind of show you a quick time lapse of what that looks like. Um, all of the other features when setting up your mosaic is the same thing as a photo booth. I'm not sure if you want me to showcase those, but I will show some important add-ons that are tied to the mosaic. You guys already know about the overlays. We're not utilizing any of the video functions. We are going to the TV functions. At the Photo Booth Expo in Amsterdam, we were showcasing this on a touchscreen display that was probably about, I think it was 55 inches. Um, you don't have to have a touch screen display to showcase it. We were showcasing it on a Raspberry Pi. You don't need a Raspberry Pi, but we were just kind of showcasing that if you get a little creative and want a Raspberry Pi, which we can help you with the image file for that, and you do want to use a more interactive approach and utilize a touchscreen monitor or big touchscreen display, when it auto-populates on the display, you can actually go select your tile and it opens up like a sharing station and share from the screen. Um, I think most people will utilize a sharing station to be able to cast their display. So there's two ways to do this. Raspberry Pi is one, which I feel like it's not going to be the most popular, unless you have specific activations that you want to um, execute these touchscreen functions on, or utilize your a separate iPad as a sharing station, or you can utilize the same iPad that's built into your booth. You don't need a second iPad. Just know that there's two methods that I'm going to showcase. If you're using an iPad sharing station or the one built into your booth, you're going to want to probably do it wirelessly based on what's more convenient to you. So if you're using like the Apple TV, it'll cast through the Apple TV. The recommended way that I will encourage every user to do this is utilizing a separate iPad or a separate iPhone and doing going with a hardwire to your TV, to your display. That's the most reliable and the quickest way to transfer the photos over if you use that method. Apple TV, again, Apple TV utilizes a wireless connection. So sometimes, those can vary if you're familiar with doing videos. So although it will work, I will recommend utilizing a separate connection and hardwiring your iPad to your TV via HDMI through a dongle of some sort. That's going to be um, the most recommended method in the sense that it's stable. It's not going to disconnect because it's not utilizing wireless networks, and you're going to see the transition into those screens quicker than a wireless connection. Does that make sense? I just want to cover that and make sure that people understand that you will be able to cast it to a digital TV, two different methods. Okay. When you're casting and you're setting up this event, you're going to want to come over to the TV functions uh, tab here on the left-hand side of the menu. You want to make sure you select Mosaic. This will control the casting on the display that you're using. If you're shooting portrait and you're using a portrait style grid, then you will be able to do vertical TV mounts in different orientations depending on your TV and how you're mounting that to your TV stand. If you're utilizing regular landscape and you're just mounting it on the TV, you don't need to select any of the top features. And I would encourage that you show the positions in the wall. This will give you the columns and rows That way people can actually see it. Although digitally, you're not going to need it, but if you just kind of want to add to the experience, select it on. I think it looks pretty cool on the display, and you can leave it on there. So this will allow your iPads, even if you go on the sharing station mode, to be able to cast it wirelessly or wired, depending on what you choose. Let's go down. Printing. You will be able to print if you have the appropriate printers. We are rapidly working on on our PrintPix box to be able to be compatible with the Epson printer for Mosaics, and the same goes with the Primera. I think for now we can say that you can do those prints utilizing a TouchPix print server that we will be upgrading soon. I know there's one that was released for the Mac recently, as recent as last week. That seems to be the most stable version. If you're going to print mosaics for now, since our print pix is not supported currently, but we're rapidly working on that. Utilize the Mac print server, which you can find on our website under support tab, downloads, and it's a free application that works with our TouchPix software, and it's a seamless connection to make sure you have access to your printer. We will be looking at updating the Windows print server as well. That Windows print server that we currently have under the downloads page it's an older version. So since we are upgrading a lot of the software, we need to make sure that we upgrade that as well. That will work with your print drivers as well. So if you guys are familiar with using Windows print servers in the past, just make sure that you download your printer's print drivers onto your computer and you follow the steps in downloading and installing the free Windows print server. Any questions with the printing aspects? Okay. We are not going to talk about ShareBox or ScanPix. This doesn't relate to this. We're going to scroll all the way down here to where it says Web Gallery and Branding. Under Web Gallery and Branding, under Layout, if you scroll down, you're going to see a photo mosaic add-on there. The generic wall is white. We can pick different colors if your branding needs call for that. So if you check this on, this will give the web gallery white pictures. It's almost like you're using background removal, and you'll have the picture that the photo booth guest took, but the background will be removed to white. You have more options here. You can adjust the wall margins. Again, remove the background, position, so show the positions in the web gallery wall. Again, this is all tied to your online web gallery. The cool thing too, when you cast it, this is the one part that I'm not going to be able to showcase live today. Because like I indicated, I have a preloaded gallery. It works great when it's live. The animations. So the idea of presenting a mosaic, not only is it for brand awareness, but you also want to highlight the photos that are being taken. So as you are casting either to your digital screen, again, this applies to the digital screen. Once you're doing the casting and you have it on mosaic mode, you have random animations that you can pick. So it'll show you the original photo first, and then it's going to transition into the wall. So it's always going to show you a large portion of the original photo, like a slideshow, and then transition into the grid. So you have all of these effects that you can choose from. So I won't be able to show you. I'll show you an example of what we used in the Photo Booth Expo in Amsterdam, but I won't be able to show you this live. This is something that you will have to test when you guys are testing your mosaic side at home. And it gives you duration between animations. You can set that wherever you need to. So that's another important portion where Mosaic is at. So for now, we've covered uh, basically 3 separate spots. We've covered the Mosaic side here under photo, which is important. We've covered it under the printing section because that's also important. If you're printing, we've covered it under the TV functions because if you're casting a digital mosaic or you're testing this at home, you'll be able to appropriately select the mosaic tab there. And finally, we have it under the web branding, under layout again. It'll give you more control of your design. And there's ways there where you can adjust your mosaic under the web gallery. Um, any questions up into here?
Yes, I have a question. So
Sure.
on the web gallery, are you able to put branding kind of like at the top or bottom, like for your company name or like, maybe even the company that you're doing the mosaic for, but then have the mosaic kind of like in the middle of the screen? Or like can you put like a logo or, contact information
You can
on
still
the
pull all your contact information. This was just released a couple of days ago.
okay.
Um, so this will need feedback for sure from the end users. If you
Yeah.
want it a certain way, I think you guys have known that our team, we want to make a software that's catered to the end user. If we get a lot of requests to specific ways that you want to brand during your mosaic, we'll definitely take that into consideration and make the necessary changes. But for now, uh, it's designed where you can position the wall. If you want to remove the margins, it gives you some control with um, with the color of your wall, whether you wanted a generic white or not. It can also have some buttons and icons as you see there, but the rest of this all will still apply. So under the web and branding section, you can still have all your social media tags where you can put your logo, you can still put your web link, you can put all your icons, which will appear under the branding section, right?
All right.
So you'll still be able to tweak it in that sense where you can still showcase either the logo for the company that you're highlighting under your mosaic, or whether you want to highlight your photo booth company as providing the service. You'll still be able to do this via other parts of the web gallery. For social media, it does HTML now, so you can make sure that you capture the information that you need to capture or display under the web gallery portion. Same thing goes for the animations and stuff like that. People utilize the animations sometimes, or logos. Um, they'll input it in their web gallery, or you can put the logo of the business or whatever agency hired you to display their mosaic. So there's a lot of options, but I would encourage you to play with this. It's brand new. If there's something that you're not liking about the flow, yeah, just reach out to us. Reach out to us via the Facebook group, or personally. We'll be able to give you guys our personal emails within the TouchFix company. That way we can pass this information on to the developer, and he can see if we can tweak it a bit to make sure that everybody's happy with the output that they're receiving.
Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely send you guys an email.
For sure.
So
Any,
I have a question.
sure, sure.
So when we're casting, if we were doing a digital mosaic,
Hmm.
you said we can like hook up an iPad directly to the TV. Would it like is the sharing station just opening up like I guess kind of like a slideshow, like it's just live. We're just mirroring the display basically.
Uh, anytime you connect, anytime you connect a hardwire iPad or iPhone onto your TV, it already does a screen share, similar to the connection that you use when you're casting it to an Apple TV, right? So
Okay.
it'll open up a sharing station if that's what you want, but it'll play the mosaic in the background. That's why it gives you that specific function under TV functions to select mosaic, right? So let me go back here to the TV functions again. So by selecting Mosaic, it's strictly for the Mosaic feature. So automatically when you connect it, you will see your screen change into a Mosaic display. And I'll show you an example in this webinar of what that looks like. That way you have a better understanding of what the flow looks like.
And then
DJ.
secondly, sorry. Would is this like a beta, or do you think we're like ready to go?
No, it's ready to go. I've been testing it internally. I've used it for one event. It's been ready to go. I think it threw people off a bit by using the Raspberry Pi box, but I just want to say and be clear that you do not need a Raspberry Pi box to go with the digital Mosaic. It works. I've used it for one event, haven't had any issues with it. Open. I mean, we're open for feedback. Again, it's our initial release for that. I'm sure there'll be tons of improvements if they're needed. But for the purpose of a digital Mosaic so far, it worked out great for me. I've yet to attempt the printed version. I do have the Epson label printer. I just haven't had the opportunity to try it at a live event. But it'll definitely print the 2x2 adhesive media as it should.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, quick question, DJ Jag here. Can we hardwire the iPad to a TV screen using a HDMI straight out of like a USB dock?
So depending on the iPad that you currently own, I will be showing on this webinar a little bit of an older iPad, I guess. Generation might be 10 or 11, but it's still the Lightning port iPad. That one has a dongle that lets you connect HDMI. I have it connected to a screen here next to me. The USB-C iPads, if you have the newer
So I'm
version of
using, yeah,
iPads,
USB-C I'm using,
yeah,
yeah.
those have dongles that most generic dongles work really well with the USB-C connection. It's the
Yeah.
older iPads that sometimes struggle with the Lightning, because you do need I'd recommend getting the original Apple made
Yeah.
dongles. The generic ones are just,
So USB-C iPad straight into a dongle into
yes,
HDMI lead to the back of the TV. That should output the Mosaic fine.
correct.
Okay. And one more question.
Sure.
If I have a client who's got a 4x6 print template choice for the prints, say 4x6, are we able to have a client choose one of those templates and still have a digital Mosaic wall?
Yes. Yes. So it'll do both, right? And you will see in this example, I'll do a quick example of me taking a photo, right? And once I take the photo, it'll give me an option for photo only. But as soon as I toggle it over to Mosaic, it also sends the Mosaic over to the display. So there's always one for the client in the event that they want a digital copy, and it's a clean digital copy, either with an overlay or without an overlay. It really depends on the way you set it up.
Cool. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, lastly, I'm just going to go into the app branding. I'm going to go by this real quick. I mean, this is the same thing as you would set up a photo booth event. This is the masterclass, so I'm assuming a lot of you already know how to set that up. You know, a logo, touch-fix logo, a background screen if that's what you want. Gallery background if that's what you want. Let me go ahead and remove this here because I don't need it. I'll just leave it blank. Usually, again, I'm going to encourage, if you want to use button designs, you're able to obviously upload your own buttons if you're knowledgeable on how to do that, or you can use any of the themes that we have. You know, you can make custom animated buttons. It's very easy to do. Perhaps we could have another masterclass on that for the people that are not aware of how to do that. But we have themes for our button designs and headers. You don't really need to add much to it in the event that you really, really want to customize it. This is the area where you would upload your custom buttons. For now, we're just worried about photos. I'm not going into any other features besides photos. You can position your buttons accordingly, whether you want circular path or a row. You can change the color of the text or color of the buttons. It all really depends on the customization that you're doing. I didn't add in a tracks, I'm sorry, like a transition screen. It's going to be a single shot. I'm not worried about that. typically under the thank you screen, that's where I add like a, uh, like a printer transition animation. But I'm not worried about that because it's a single shot. I want to be able to execute my shots and kind of go with the quicker flow. I did add like a start screen. You don't need it. Maybe I'll delete that. You don't need that, but you can add a start screen if that's what you want. And once you have everything ready to go, you are going to scan into your event. I'm going to switch over to my iPhone now and kind of show you the process of what I have going on. Any other questions? Feel free. I know Julian's on here. He could probably assist with some of the questions if you do have any questions, like get this on board.
So I have two questions. One is, let's say I have a gallery that I just did a regular photo booth event for, and I have a bunch of pictures. Is there a way to, after, just make a mosaic of already captured content, or does it have to be pictures taken live at an event?
So there is a way. I mean, well, there's not a way for the end user at the moment. I want to say right now, our development team, we do have methods of utilizing other galleries. Um, I would recommend what I would recommend is if you have a gallery right now that you know yet you're no longer going to use, and it has uh, populated pictures in there, I would recommend utilizing that gallery to be able to test your mosaic features because you do need some pictures inside that gallery. And preferably if they're single shot, it's a single shot gallery, I think that would work better. It's the multiple shot galleries that I think you may run into some issues.
Okay. And then second, I find that, I currently use a different software for Mosaic. So, I've done some mosaics with that, and I just want to like it a lot of times, is there a way to like reprint individual photos? Because sometimes people stick the sticker at the wrong place and then you gotta like,
You can.
re
So you
yeah.
in the gallery, you will not only get the original clean output with your template, you will also get that choice for that mosaic picture alongside of it. So they're going to kind of be married to one another. So you'll see both of them together. You're not going to see that in my gallery because I have I'm using a different procedure on uploading that, and I've kind of been testing mosaics off of this event. Uh, a lot, so mine's going to look jumbled. But when you do your gallery and somebody goes through a session, they're going to see the original shot and they're going to see, by original, I mean the one with the template, and then they're going to see the mosaic one, which is a different color, and it'll have a label of where to locate that.
But you can go back and like reprint an individual picture is what I'm saying. Like, let's say
Correct.
that,
So,
yeah, yeah,
so in the gallery, you'll just select it and hit
yeah.
print.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
Question. Can you download the final mosaic output as a file? So just say you built a mosaic and they didn't go with prints, it's just digital. And say you want to prepare like a canvas or something like that or a poster of the final mosaic output. Could that be downloaded and
I'm
printed
I'm
like on a...
sorry. I'm sorry. You broke up. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so once you finish a mosaic, say it's a digital mosaic you're doing for a client, is it an option to download the finished mosaic?
It is. You will have an option to download the finished mosaic in high quality. So let me show you this before I go into the my screen share. I'm just trying to capture a different trying to capture it. I'm gonna have to, in order for me to show you my equipment here, I'm gonna have to use another iPhone's camera. But before we go in there, let's see if I can let me see if I can show this here. Give me 1 second here.
it would also be nice to be able to download not only the still image, but also like a time lapse video of the mosaic as it gets put together as well.
That's that's a great idea. It's something that we've been discussing the
This morning.
uh, last couple of hours actually. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's a great idea. It's something that we're looking into and sharing this. Give me 1 second here. I just
Yeah, remember that what DJ mentioned, all of these requests or all of these ideas are great in order to make the experience, you know, more fascinating. So please drop the email and tell us all that ideas that you have so we can deliver this information to the developers team and they can work on in adding that function or that feature. Okay.
so as you can see, I did a time lapse here. As you can see, this is how it's displayed. I recorded this from my TV, so forgive that, but it gives you the exact the columns. As you can see, the TouchPix logo is pretty vibrant with the 75% opacity. You can still make it more vibrant. And excuse, you can see some of my recessed lightings up there. Like I said, I recorded it off of TV, so it's the glare. It's not the actual, mosaic piece. But I just wanted to showcase that this is the way it's going to cast very similar, with the exception that I did this as a preview. The other options that the Mosaic has, and I'll get into that once I open up the app and go into those functions, is say that you have an event and you have this Mosaic that calls for 277 slots, but you've only taken about 100 and say 20 pictures, right? There's an autofill option where it would randomly just get anything from the gallery and duplicate those pictures just so that your mosaic will end up with the full canvas. So I think that was it's a pretty neat option that I feel can cater to a lot of events, because some of these mosaics are multiple day activations. Some of them are maybe 5-6 hours, but depending on how long you rent your mosaic for, if it doesn't fill the canvas, you're able to do a what we call the autofill option, and it'll duplicate at random certain pictures from the gallery. Does that make sense? All right, let me see. So that is kind of the time lapse that I did earlier today of that, but I also want to showcase, let me see, I got some other options here before I move away from that. Let's see here. Sorry, I got some coyotes out here. I know you guys can probably hear that. Let me see. Let me go back in here. All right, I'm gonna try to share the other piece here, which is the output, right? People want to see the output and what that looks like. Um, is that coming out on your screen? So this is like the downloaded output of the Mosaic. Yeah. Obviously it's 14%, but if you go a little, if you zoom in, let me see here, it's not clearing, but I'm used to using a Mac on this, but once you zoom in, it's in high quality. Right now it looks like it's, as you can see the size of this, you can see how big the file is actually. Down here is just, I think the bandwidth here is not displaying it the way I'd like it to display. But initially what I wanted to showcase is these pictures here will have very small text there that tell you the column and row. And that's usually printed on the Mosaic if you're utilizing the printer. That way the guest can match the column and row to the actual board that you're going to have physically printed. So I just kind of wanted to showcase that, and that is the finished mosaic in high quality. Obviously, right now it's at 37 megabytes, which is an extremely large file, but you can see how you can either reduce that and print this mosaic in large format, and it'll be really crispy clear, especially if you're taking photos with a DSLR. I think that will enhance the quality of your photos. Although I've seen some good iPad outputs as well, but I think for mosaics, it's going to come to preference on what you want to utilize. Any questions on that before I jump into the actual app and show you how it auto populates? Okay, let me jump into the app real quick then. I'm going to stop the share. Give me one quick sec. I'm utilizing a different phone just so you can see the way I'm hooked up to this TV here, but I'm going to be using the camera app. There's no easy way to do this when you're on Zoom. And let me see here.
So this does require internet connection, correct? To order to work, like, because you guys are using cloud-based stuff, right?
So yes and no. If you're going to do a mosaic and you're using a separate iPad as a sharing station, I would encourage to utilize the internet connection. I think you'll have a faster composition with an internet connection, but it's not needed. If you have your primary capture device, your capture iPad or iPhone, whatever you're using, you can still send the gallery photos over to the secondary as a sharing station by utilizing our what we call the receiver sender method, right? The gallery will still transfer over in that fashion. Once that sharing station iPad receives it, it'll cast it the same way, right? Similar to how you set up your sharing station. There's a couple of ways of setting those up. One of them is called online sync. Online sync uses the cloud, yes, for sure. But then we do have the other method where it uses a sender receiver. It's called easy share. As long as you have an active Wi-Fi, active Bluetooth on both devices, it sends it through the our iOS sharing method over to the secondary iPad, and you will see your pictures being received from the sharing station, so you can cast it as a mosaic from there. So it'll work both ways, with internet, without. Highly encouraged with internet for this type of activation, though, if you're able to do it. But the beauty is that you can test it at home and see how it works for you.
There is an advantage of doing it that way rather than a HDMI cable.
No, I like the HDMI cable. I will always for these types of activations. I mean, so my perspective, and I do want to encourage everybody to test it and see what works best for you, because there's a lot of different ways of doing things. But these types of activations, in my eyes, demand a higher level client, which is going to pay you a higher amount for the rental fee, right? You don't want to be not being able to execute these types of activations for that specific client. Always use the best equipment available to you. So, although I'm saying it does work without internet, I would highly encourage to utilize an available fast Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, internet connection, so you'll be able to do everything cloud-based as far as the downloads and transitions over to the sharing station, because that will allow you to execute your job at the end of the day. If you don't have any internet, by all means, you'll still be able to execute it, but some stuff may be a little slower based on your wireless connection. Obviously, wireless connection is always slower than hardwire. Okay, let me see here. Are you want to go ahead and make this a co-host as well? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share a screen. See if I'm able to do that here. All right, I'm gonna refresh this event because that was an old test I did. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go into settings again and kind of go over the mosaic and how it's going to auto populate. First of all, I'm going to go back into the overlay. You can preview it here to make sure this is from the actual device. I showed it to you from the web platform. Now I'm showing you this from the actual device where the app is going to perform its duties. You go to preview, make sure that you have it connected to the canvas, make sure your opacity is where it needs to be. I'm using 75. You could utilize a higher number if you want that brand logo to stand out a bit more, but I feel like for me that works for this. I'm gonna go over to marking, right? Under here, you will see that you'll be able to manipulate different colors via either the text sizes, via background color, border color. You have complete control of what color you'd like your mosaic output to be, right? You can do a preview here. This shows you the actual grid. So if I zoom into the grid here, like I'm doing here, you can see that the grid gives you the columns and it gives you the rows, okay? This gives you a grid size there. I'm gonna go back. Now I'm gonna go over to export. In this case, let's see. I think I cleared it already. Okay. So in this case, I had to clear the mosaic. I clicked on the top three circles on the top right-hand side, and you can actually reset your mosaic, which it looks like I already did, right? Once it's complete, this is where you can actually do, you can select a download for the entire completed wall, but this, you can also do it from your web gallery on your computer. It's important for you guys to do that immediately, right? Because if you guys close your event, some of these information is going to disappear because the folders are no longer going to be active. So upon completing your mosaic, please download your wall, your completed wall. And if you're able to access your TouchPix folder in your root folder under files, grab either the raw images, or you can utilize the app Dropbox or Google Drive to ensure that you do that. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Fill Mosaic, right? And it's gonna compile everything that's in my gallery, and it's gonna start filling it in. This is kind of a slower process right now because I'm doing a preview, and I probably have about 1,000 photos there. But so you guys can see the process, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get off this screen share, and I'm gonna use a different iPad that I have connected to a TV here. That way you guys can see the live example of how that works. But up to this point, do you guys have any questions up to this point? Does it seem pretty easy how to access your previews, how to access or reset your wall if you need to? Um, does that seem fairly easy to everyone?
Quick question. I was testing this earlier today, and for some reason it was including some test shots when I used the fill the mosaic, even though I deleted them from the gallery.
Yeah, so
Um,
right now, as of today, you guys will be receiving an update coming out very, very soon. There was a few bugs with the
okay,
current actual build for the Mosaic. I'm using our current beta mode that I've been testing, and this is going to be released soon because it's solid. So you will see some changes on that. So I'm going to get off of this share and I'm going to go into a live share. That way you guys can see that, and just don't want to confuse you on that. But let's see here.
Are we able to have multiple stations taking the pictures?
Let me see how I could answer that. Because yes, there's a lot of things that are possible, but there's a lot of things that are not encouraged. Um, so if you do want to have multiple stations taking the pictures, ultimately the answer is yes. You will need to scan this into the same event, right? If you wanted to appear on that same mosaic, right? So meaning that you have two photo booths for one event. One is positioned outside somewhere. One is positioned, 100 yards away. The answer is there's a way of doing it, but you would have to operate under the same event. And I'd be cautious with that in the sense that once you close that event, you want to make sure you close it appropriately. That way you're capturing every single shot that was taken for that specific event.
Okay.
Give me one sec here and I will attempt to share again. Oops.
Oh, you had a button that resets the whole entire mosaic, but is there a way to just retake a single photo? Like, let's say you just don't like one photo somewhere.
Yeah,
Is there a way?
there's no way to delete one specific photo at the moment. But again, these are conversations we can have with the developer and see if there's ways to actually do it. So forgive me here because I'm in my workstation here. I'm using an iPad, right? This is going to be my sharing station. As you can see, I have probably about 1,040 shots. This is what I mean when you run a good live mosaic. You will get not only the original photo, which you see there, but you'll also get the mosaic folder that you see there. So you're going to be able to have access to multiple photos. One goes to maybe a printer that prints 4x6. The other mosaic can either go to if you have a different printer doing your tangible mosaic, you can send it to that printer or you can send it to the casting mode. So first and foremost, I want to showcase this. This is the dongle. It's plugged in USB. I'm sorry, HDMI, and it's plugged into this monitor up here via HDMI cable. There's nothing fancy about this setup. It's a normal sharing station. This is on online sync off of the same Wi-Fi, right? So I'm gonna go. Let me get out of here.
Check that you are not syncing online.
Yeah, I just did this example here. So I'm gonna go here. Oops. I'm gonna go here under the menu. I'm gonna go over to Mosaic. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to do this from. Bear with me. I'm gonna have to do this from my iPhone just because I don't have the right developer one on this one. Bear with me, and then we'll get back to this. All right. So you guys have some questions? I just need to grab one quick dongle for it to be displayed on my TV real quick. If you guys have any questions, I can answer them.
Okay, DJ, I see one question with Carlos. Carlos is asking if every time the background will be removed and replaced with a white backdrop, and what will happen with large groups when you do the background removal? DJ, can you hear me?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, if the question are actually two questions. I answered one, and it's asking first if the app will always remove the background from the photos that are being applied to the mosaic. That's the first question. The background removal. You know that we see that the background on the photos are
White.
white. So That's a feature that is designed like that in order to reduce the noise of the environment or the shot that you have. Okay, and he is worried about what happens with large groups when the background removal sometimes fails to make a good extraction of the subjects. So in this case, my answer will be like it's something that we have to work, because actually is the way that the app works. When you are doing the printout for the mosaic, you will see it with a white background, and when you have the one that is for the customer or for the guest, will be customized with the backdrop that you have in that way. Are you there, DJ?
Yeah, no, I heard the initial questions regarding the background removal. I think there's a couple of ways where this can be done. Absolutely, the background removal at the moment, I think puts the picture in white. I don't feel like you need to always use the background removal. I think within the color shades that you pick during the settings, you'll be able to adjust and use the original photo. Um, so you'll have a couple of different options to utilize it. I think it's really going to depend on your preference. Not all labels or logos are going to go good with a white background, so you'll be able to customize the background colors. If you want to use the original photos, I believe you will be able to utilize that. It's not available at the moment, but that's something that definitely is a request that has been made in the past, and I feel like you're 100% correct. Again, the idea of a mosaic, because I've done mosaics as well. This is not my first round with mosaics. It's my first round with mosaics on TouchPix. The idea of a mosaic is to enhance brand awareness. You got to know that even if you do purchase your Primera label printer or your Epson label printer, those printouts are not high quality printouts like the ones from your DNP. This is more to showcase the interaction of the guests by highlighting the brand logo. And it's a great way that companies like to hire out for these events. They just want to see people having fun and also want to be able to showcase their logo behind it. So I wouldn't worry too much about the mosaic quality because those printers are not they're not great printers to begin with. I believe that the digital mosaic is definitely a good option if you don't want to invest in those printers. But be assured that by doing the mosaic this way, you have two options. Maybe the mosaic option is not to your liking based on that background removal. You're going to have the option to take a photo with the actual background and print out the actual background to hand to your client anyways. You have two options. Let me show you what I mean by that. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to go back into I was able to hook up my iPhone, and I apologize for this, just so you can see the output here. Okay, so I'm using an iPhone. This time I'm using an iPhone. I believe it's 15. It's a USB-C iPhone using a USB-C dongle, HDMI onto the TV. As you can see, I'm within the app here, and I'm also able to cast it. So it's casting in the background the mosaic picture, and I'm still able to operate it all from one device. So you don't need multiple devices. If you can run it this way, if your setup calls for the ability to hardwire it this way, because even if you're utilizing a DSLR camera, these dongles are pretty common because your DSLR will utilize a USB slot anyways. Just know that the HDMI can also cast it out all with one device. Okay. And I'm going to just do a quick session here so you can see. This session here is I just selected photo. It took a photo. I'm going to hit next, right? As it processes, I want you to look at the option down here. You see that it did a photo mosaic option. If you toggle this to photo, you can actually see it with the overlay. So this is what you can print and hand over to your client while the mosaic is going to go cast on the TV. So that's kind of what I wanted to show here. So every time you run a session, right? Anytime you run a session, that's what the client will see. They will see a, they will see a, let's see here. And hit next. They will be able to see the mosaic version going over to the TV. And they'll see the TouchPix version here that can be sent over to the printer. So both of these will be placed in your gallery. If you need to reprint either or, you can grab it from the gallery, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit, I'm not going to share. I don't want to delete it. Sorry here, just navigating through the Zoom link. All right. Oh man, that's stuck there. But you get the idea. You'll be able to do photo or mosaic. It'll sit in your gallery, and you can reprint if you want to do either or. Does that make sense, or you guys have questions on that?
DJ, I did actually I tested this earlier and I didn't actually see those two options. Um, is that because maybe I haven't got the latest version that you're about to release, or should I be
Possibly. I
seeing
mean, no,
that?
this was out at the Photo Booth Expo, so you should see these two options if you set up your event under the Mosaic tab under your event manager. If you just
Yeah, the
set it up
rest of the
as
Mosaic feature was working. All I was seeing was I wasn't seeing that function there, and it didn't start filling in the Mosaic wall by itself. I had to force it by using the fill option. I'm assuming it
yeah,
should start filling it in by itself
it
as soon
does.
as you.
It does it by itself, and it does it with an animation. The fill
Yeah,
option right now that I'm using, it's not showing the animation because I'm using a fill option, but you
yeah,
should absolutely see the animation that goes into it as well
yeah,
and start filling up on its own.
yeah, yeah. I'll just create a new event tomorrow and try it again.
Yeah, for sure. I think we should have a release coming out soon on that with the latest build because we have been internally testing this beta version. I believe it's a solid build. Like I said, I've used the beta version for one quick event. It worked out great under the digital side. I'm eager to test the actual prints to compare it to something that I've used years back. But in my experience, even what I've used years back, I want to let the users know that if you're getting into the mosaic for branding and you're expecting great mosaic prints, that really doesn't exist based on those two printers that are the industry standard for mosaics. It's the Primera 5000 LX 5000 and it's an Epson, I believe it's TM 3500. Those are the actual industry standard mosaic printers that most people use. And just know that don't expect DMP quality prints for those because they're on 2x2 label printers. They're meant to highlight the actual logo in a large format, but knowing that you have the option of printing out the initial output, you're always able to print those and send them out to your DMP printer. Any questions on that? I will now turn it over just to see if you have any questions at all, because that kind of wraps up how to set up a mosaic, what to expect with delivery, right? You have two options, mosaic casting digitally. I'm going to recommend hardwire is as the best method. Although if you have an Apple TV and you feel like your connections are great, by all means, you can use a wireless connection. Let's expect a faster connection with the hardwire method and see what works best for you.
Question, DJ. So if a client has a three picture template for the prints, When it's building the mosaic, does it use each of those three pictures it captures in the mosaic, or does it just choose one?
No, it uses the raw images. That's what the Mosaic uses. It uses the raw
Yeah.
images. My hesitation with a three printer template would be if you're using if you're attempting to do like a photo strip. I think that may throw off your grid based on the template size, right? I think if you're using, I have not tried it. Maybe I can give you a little bit more feedback in the group this coming weekend, doing some internal testing. But I feel like if you use a three-shot template that matches the current template I'm using, a single shot, I think you should be fine. But I think mosaics, just for the sake of speed and the sake of the need to want to fill up the actual logo, should be done with single shot templates.
You were to use a three-shot template, would it use each of those three raw images to fill the
My
mosaic?
my guess would be yes, but I have not tested, so I would not
Yeah,
be able to give you a definitive answer on that.
yeah. Uh, And should the template you choose for the mosaic be identical in terms of orientation as the template you choose for the print? So, for example, if you have a 4x6 three print template, obviously the subjects will have portrait pictures taken. Would you need to have the kind of the same um, orientation for the mosaic template, or could you just have like one portrait template for the mosaic?
No, I think it would need to be the same. I think you would throw your grid off if you're utilizing
Yeah, templates.
different
Yeah,
sizes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Does anybody else have questions regarding Mosaic? I mean, this is a time to provide us with feedback if you feel like there's need for added ways of functionality or making the flow a little bit easier for you to set up. I feel like it's a solid, I want to say it's a very solid start from us. I'm not going to say this is going to be, our last stop. I think we can always improve on anything that we do, but we also want to be able to showcase it, show you guys how easy it is to create one. Just because we know that there's other software out there that can possibly do this, but from what I've seen, it's not as easy to get something set up. And I think this is a way to not only enhance the value of the TouchFix app, but also give you that option to create added revenue streams by continuing to use TouchPix and being able to pull off and execute high level events for big brand companies that will pay you a premium for this types of service. I know Christmas is right around the corner, holiday parties are right around the corner. I think this is a great time for this release based on big corporations having some budget to highlight their holiday parties. But what an extra way to pitch the ability of highlighting their brand by utilizing this Mosaic service. So I think this is definitely great timing for the release. And I'm hoping people are as excited as we are because both Julian and I are also end users in the sense that we have multi-op photo booth companies that that we utilize and feel like we're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I would like to chime in here. Like I said, I use another Mosaic software currently, but that's PC based. So I'm interested in this because I want to, like you said, easier setup, which could just be run from the photo booth itself without needing to bring that additional PC to the party. And I definitely like, the ease of configuration and being able to also provide not only the Mosaic print, but also a physical print with the same kind of photo booth setup. So I'm looking forward to trying this out with TouchPix, and I'm looking forward, to see the iterations as it goes forward. I think this is a great start. I would say keep your eyes open because there's some features I think you guys still need to flesh out, but I'm sure it'll get better and better with each subsequent release.
Yeah, and we appreciate the support, man. If there's anything we can do, I know you guys are taking some valuable time out of your your day, your evening, your night to just kind of join us on these master classes that I do know I'm in the West Coast, so I do know that I have probably the earlier time zone in the sense of you guys are staying up a little late, but we want to make sure that you guys are equipped with the tools to be able to enhance your businesses. If there's anything we can do as far as getting you on board to try it out, I'm going to put some links here in the chat. You can always feel free to reach me via email. I'm sure you can reach Julian via email if he wants to put that email there too. But if you ever need help with maybe setting something up or you have additional questions, I'm going to go ahead and share what we have our one-on-ones appointments, right? If you need specific help in setting up an event or you have just some questions regarding how to set up certain events or just kind of need us to look over your event, utilize that touchfix.com/meet. It'll kind of give you a calendar and somebody, whether it be myself, Julian, because we all work to support chats, and or it be any other of our reps can sit down and meet with you and actually set you up to make sure that your event is running smoothly or answer any of the questions that you have that you may be a little wary about. We're here to support you. We're here to support your businesses. We're here to support our brand because we know that, we are coming up with a lot of updates. We are coming up with some changes, but we're trying to keep up with the demand of the industry. And I think this is a big plus because at the moment right now, I think we want you guys to be excited about this and we want you to be able to execute your events and demand that higher pay rate for offering these types of services.
So before you go, can you touch on pricing at all? Um,
Yeah, so as far as pricing goes, I know you guys have seen the PBX. Maybe a lot of you saw the PBX video that Julian posted. I think initially this was going to be something that's was going to be offered to our enterprise subscribers. But I can honestly say you guys are taking time out of your night. If there's something I can do, whether to give you a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, for you to utilize this, we will do everything in our power to be able to provide this for you at no charge so you can try it out and at least feel comfortable with it. Because the idea I think behind this, if you're not an enterprise user, this is probably going to end up being like a $50 add-on, which is still very, very economical uh, for some of these events that may require this types of service. Any other questions? And I hope I answered your question. So for now, I think we will be providing trials for people to get acclimated to this, feel comfortable about this. And not sure when that upcharge is going to start, but I think the idea behind it, I think the CEO and the owner are still in talks on how to kind of roll this out. I don't think anything has been finalized, but I feel like they've discussed some upcharges. They've discussed it being part of the subscription. Right now, it's up in the air, but we will be able, for at least the people on this call taking the time out of their day, we will be able to offer this on a free trial basis, just so you guys can get
DJ, so
comfortable
you
and
know
acclimated.
the you can actually buy the add-on now. I did it yesterday. That's how I've
Yeah,
been testing it.
if
Yeah,
even if you need,
it's
like I said,
available.
even if you needed a free trial,
Yeah,
we're here to be able to offer that for you, just so you can get acclimated. This is the purpose of these masterclass webinars. People that are taking the time to learn on these new experiences, we want to be able to help you out as much as we can. So at any point, uh, once your um, once your add-on expires, if you still need added time, shoot me an email, and
get that.
we'll get you on board.
If we have any questions, is it just best to get in touch with support as usual, or should we come direct to you guys?
Start with support unless it's something very specific. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
open. I try to answer all of my emails within a 24-hour time slot. So if you feel like If it's just a generic touch pitch question, go through support. If it's something specific to Mosaic, I think you can reach out to Julian or I. I think we're really well versed on the software, and we may be able to help you out a lot quicker.
Get that. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I see some questions here. Last time, yeah. So, just want to throw this disclaimer out there because the support one-on-ones, we only offer those really Monday through Thursday. Please understand that Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we consider those peak hours for a lot of photo boothers. So we have to give attention back to the support chats for people that are actually at live events. If you want to schedule something a little later during the week, we can be available. Shoot us an email and we'll give you some time slots and see if we can work something out. Thank you all.
Yeah, or also they can start chat and ask for availability. So if someone that, for instance, there's someone asking for a print express programming after 4 p.m. East time, so you need to start chat when you are ready, and some of the agents can take that reprogramming. It's like maybe we can do reprogramming up to let's say 8 or 7 p.m. for East time, sorry. So please start chat, and if someone is available to do it for you, we will step in, okay? But please do the chat and ask for availability, and that's the faster way that we can designate an agent to do that for you, okay?
Yeah, and just know too, just to kind of piggyback on that, if you're ready for reprogramming, we ask for three things to be ready to go. Reprogram something sometimes is as quick as 20 minutes, sometimes is as long as an hour. It really
Yeah.
depends. So the more you can do to help us out, meaning that have a PC or a Mac ready to go. Please have a micro SD card reader, right? And some of our boxes, you're going to need a pair of tweezers to extract that old SD card out. So as long as you have those three things, we can do it fairly quick. But if you can help us out by being prepared with that, we can do these programmings really quick. And yeah, reach out to us. We'll work with you. But also, yeah, like Julian said, start from the chat, see who's available. And if nobody's available, say,
Yeah.
hey, DJ, I've tried the chat, nobody's available. I'll make time for you, man. You'll get taken care of.
Yeah, and also try to get to be in a place with a faster internet connection, because sometimes there's people that contact us and they have really slow internet connection, and the file that we have to download to the computer is pretty big. It's about 5 GB, so you can tell how long this can take if you are running in a really slow internet connection. Okay.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see a comment from Alec. It says, I'm really trying to learn the entire printing apparatus. How can I get full access, even with the watermark images to test print features with my DMP? Alec, I don't know if you're talking about just prints in general, or is this question isolated to our topic for today via Mosaic? If it's regarding Mosaic, all you need to do is go over to the touchpix.com. And under support, you will find downloads for a print server, whether you're using a Windows machine or a Mac machine. There's print server apparatuses, or not apparatuses, print server drivers
Olympics.
that you can download if you're using a laptop to try the Mosaic printing, if that's what you want to do. And if you need help, again, we're here to help you. Start with the chat, see if there's appointment times if you need that, but we're more than willing to jump in and help you.
We have another question, DJ.
Yeah, so I see that question, DMP and a label printer at the same time, meaning that you will be able to use two printers. The same time comment is what throws me off. So one will print towards the label printer. After that prints, you can then print your second print to your DMP 4x6. But the issue comes in where you won't be printing them at the exact same time. It has to be staggered. That way it avoids any printing issues or printer miscommunications.
Yep.
All right. If there's no more questions, thank everybody for taking the time. I appreciate you guys being part of the TouchFix family. We appreciate you guys as end users. Definitely keeps us busy and keeps us motivated into releasing new features that we're excited and passionate about. Like I said, Julian and I are both avid end users as well. So we're excited to have these types of higher end features in the TouchFix app. If there's anything we can do to help you to make your business operate better in the sense of utilizing our app, feel free to reach out. Definitely, again, thank you guys for joining our masterclass. Be on the lookout. We have a lot more that we're releasing. I don't know if you guys saw the PBX Amsterdam footage, but we are now incorporating sensors, which I'm also very excited about. Sensors trigger either photo or video taking, whether it's infrared sensors, whether it's movement sensors, whether it's speed sensors. It opens the possibilities for some creative activations. And creative activations for me means more money. So I'm hoping that we can share a lot of this knowledge moving forward. That way we could just expand on our end users as well. I don't know if you have any closing comments, Julian.
I know you already covered everything, so please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. We'll have our email so you can have direct contact with us. You can also get us in Facebook. Okay, you can drop us a DM, so we will reply as soon as is possible. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate you guys and have a great night. Feel free to get at us either through socials or through email. I appreciate you guys, and let's get out there and start making that money. See you guys.
See you. Thank you.